Welcome to the Heat Beat Podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, it's producer and co-founder Brian Goins here on the left on twitch.tv/MIA.
Bro, what's going on? What's going on in our chat right now? They're sending dicks.
Whoa, what's going on?
I don't know.
Well, what a way to start. I was kind of focused on what's going on here.
I'm sorry, Siobhan.
Welcome,
Hi,
Christian. Hi,
Siobhan.
Siobhan's on the bottom of the screen if you're watching.
Hi, Christian.
Hey, Siobhan, how's it going?
I believe this is Christian's fault. Christian invited us.
What did I do?
Well, why are you blaming Christian for chat?
Yeah,
He
seriously.
said, "What's up, everybody?" And then everybody started posting either dicks or boobs.
Okay,
Well,
but that doesn't mean I invited it.
Okay, yeah, we
But,
want to.
but they're writing it in calculator terms. So, like, you ever done that, like, in a
Yes,
calculator?
of course. I also had a childhood, but like, I mean, just over
three.
Exactly.
Listen, okay, we're a family chat. Behave. I don't know where Brian's.
Where's
Brian
your
is
moderator?
coming. Yeah, I don't know. Brian and Jen will be here soon.
Yeah,
Regardless, that is our what an interesting. That's a funny start for the pod audience. I want to pod audience tweet us. What's it like when you guys are listening to the pod and it's being streamed? So we kind of you gotta get the both worlds. So kind of curious. So tweet us at MIAHeapy your experiences with that. I've always kind of wondered. All right, y'all. So we have quite a few things to talk about today. The Heat finally got a much-needed road win for them. They beat the Raptors, who, despite them not being as good as they were last year, by all measures, they've been pretty okay. Like, their point differential was not that bad going into last night's game. I think they were, like, less than minus. They were, like, within – they were almost neutral in terms of point differential, which is impressive considering they've lost so many games. And see, I have Alf texting me that he needs a StreamYard code in the middle of me doing this show. I mean, come on, give me some peace, Alf. Alf's texting me. He's bothering me in chat. I'm a disaster already. Christian, kind of want to go to you first. They play the Raptors. They play what is one of their better offensive games all year. Their offense kind of looked like itself in the second half. What were things that you really liked?
I mean, I think one of the biggest things that probably isn't getting talked about enough, just because everybody's obviously focusing on Bam as they should be, but Goran, after probably like a week or two where he was having a lot of really shaky games, he looked like himself again last night, especially when it comes to shooting from deep. And that, I think, is always going to help carry Miami. Obviously, Goran being a huge operator in the pick and roll and really, taking advantage of his craftiness and driving is a huge part of his game, but he needs to be spacing the floor for this team as well. So I think that was huge. I think it's interesting. I don't know why I'm immediately jumping to talking about Mo, but I thought it was interesting that he didn't play after the game that he had a couple nights ago. But so it's interesting. I feel like Spo's been very, very all over the place with his rotations.
I mean, he did that not this past game, the game before that too, with KZ. He had like one of his best regular season games, hitting 4 or 5 from 3, and he didn't give him any minutes.
He didn't play at all last game either, didn't he?
Yeah, so it's 2 straight games.
No.
He's been DNP coach's decision, so yeah.
What they're doing a lot of is they're starting Bam, they're starting Olynyk, and then they're starting kind of a wing, and then they'll kind of they're subbing Bam out, and then they're putting Precious in. So then you have that Precious Olynyk lineup, and then when Olynyk goes to rest, Andre is coming in at the 4, right? So their power forward rotation is essentially Bam, Olynyk, and Andre, right? So they've kind of done this thing where they've eliminated, really, other than Andre playing some spot minutes at the 4, that's their rotation now, right? And that's kind of interesting because Siobhan, we've been saying on the show for a while that was kind of KZ's spot, and obviously they started Harkless there early, and they've just kind of settled on this.
Yeah, I think that we're settling into some type of consistency this soon. I do, or the consistency that we maybe thought, the rotation that we maybe thought we would have seen a little bit further down the road with Kelly starting next to Bam. Yeah, you're right. I kind of thought, especially, he's been showing so many flashes. I thought, that 4 spot would be suited for KZ or Bam or however they choose to play those two there. not that we're calling for a ton more of those minutes, but Mo did play well, or did better than he had the other day. So I guess we'll get into Spo's rotation soon, or I don't know if we want to start with that, but it's interesting. Like I don't really understand. I think maybe with KZ, it's just like getting him enough to keep him salivating and to keep him, I don't know, wanting. But it has to break a confidence. It has to break a little bit of a rhythm when we're already in a kind of rhythmless season. So
I'm totally with you, and I think that at least, and like when Jimmy comes back, that's gonna monkey wrench everything that they're doing, right? Because they've kind of settled this, and then now when you add Jimmy, you add another guy at the 3. Because I think which clear that Harkless can't play the 4, and I think if he plays the 4, it's going to be very limited and against backups. I think that they're kind of he's going to play the 3, and then if they're not playing Olynyk and Bam or Precious and Olynyk, the 4 is going to be Jimmy or it's going to be Andre, and that's kind of going to be what they have going forward. But throwing Jimmy in there really kind of ruins their rhythm, because I think offensively, especially last game, that was probably one of the better offensive games that they've had all season against a competent defensive team. I'm not going to say that the Raptors are world beaters this year like they were last year, but they're well coached and everything.
Who were our starting guards last game? Was he Gabe and Goran? Gabe, Goran, Duncan, Kelly, Bam.
Yeah. Which honestly surprised me how well Duncan held up defensively, and we'll talk about that later. But they've started, I think, 8 different starting lineups in these first 12 or 13 games. It's not healthy for them. They have no kind of consistency, right? You start KZ's in one game, and then it's Harkless, and then it's 2 bigs again, and then it's Andre, and then now it's Duncan, right? So I know that part of that's COVID, but it's Christian, we were talking about this in the chat. It's really unlike Spoelstra, because he likes a set rotation. He's like, all right, I know that Goran's gonna come off the bench because I like what he gives me coming off the bench. I like him against backups. I like that spark. And I don't care what happens around this. I want to depend on that. I'm very structured in that. And this season feels, I don't know if it's because of the COVID, but it's a complete departure. And he's just like, I'm going to try shit until I find something I like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's clear that he's tinkering. He has a lot of guys on this roster that can theoretically contribute. I feel like we've seen basically everybody play this season except for Udonis. So he's definitely been going into the bag to see what he can come up with. You have somebody like Gabe Vincent, who he's now giving a good amount of minutes to that we probably weren't expecting. Obviously, we have Jimmy and we have Avery Bradley out, with health and safety protocol. But, you guys were talking earlier about how short of a leash KZ has. People have been joking about how I feel like Gabe has a really long leash.
He does.
Especially compared to KZ. He's shooting 33% from the field, 28% from 3. He has 5 fouls every 6 minutes. I feel like Gabe gives us a little bit something at the point guard, though, that we kind of haven't really had, which is maybe he's not the best defender, and I don't know what his numbers are, but I feel like he's maybe a more solid defensive presence. He's a little bigger, he's a little stockier, he's younger. I feel, so he's fighting over the screens, he's doing those types of things, and I think he knows that he's not a prolific scorer yet. So he gives us, that other kind of edge defensively. And you're absolutely right, because I was actually going to go into the positives, and one of the positives is that he's holding opponents right now under 40% from the field, which at the guard position is a huge thing. So that totally checks out with what you were saying, Shaban. Cool. And also one of the things that stood out to me is right now he leads the Heat in net rating. The Heat are beating teams by 5.8 points per 100 possessions when he's on the court, which is the best mark on the team. So even though he may be struggling in his offensive efficiency, he is clearly doing things on the court that are helping this team.
He's also with a 109 defensive rating when he's on, and then a 112 when he's off. So they're playing better defense with him on the floor. And part of that is he's playing with, Bam a lot, especially because he started a few games. And but that's still impressive, especially because they played the Sixers so shorthanded. And Shabana, I got to be honest with you, I'd not even considered his defensive impact, because, it's not great, but you're absolutely right. It's not Kendrick Nunn bad.
It's not Kendrick Nunn bad, and it's not Kendrick Nunn bad but it maybe isn't quite Avery Bradley good, but it's enough to keep us maybe afloat until we get Avery and Jimmy back. And if he can get more consistent with that three, then that's even better.
Like, I mean, that he could shoot it, and
Yeah.
and that he can get to the cup because like he has the ball skills, and we kind of went through his G League stats a couple shows ago, and like he has that in his bag. Like it's harder against NBA players, but I saw people tweeting like he's not an NBA player, and I was like, well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think he's obviously not a starter. I think that's pretty clear. But I do think that down the line he can help them, especially with some depth once they get kind of some. I mean, if Tyler's healthy, he's not starting for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have a more consistent guard rotation where he's playing against backups instead of starters. The defense is something that has been a little interesting because, we expected them, at least I did, not to be very good. I thought they'd be a little better than they are, but at times it's looked, I don't want to be mean, but it's looked like downright pathetic. That first game against the Pistons, that's the first half of the second game against the Pistons was like inexcusable, playing really soft. Sometimes when Bam would switch, it'd be like a really soft switch. Like they're not getting after it. Guys are getting beat off the dribble. Guys are dying on screens. There's just nothing, like all those like little things that they were always really good at. Even when they would play zone, the Heat would play a lot of edge with their zone. There was a lot of movement, a lot of hands moving. And it's really dialed back a bit, which is kind of weird because you would think that after all the talk about how it's a fluke or whatever, they would have a little more edge, and they haven't. So I kind of want to get into the zone stuff. And Christian, I know that you have some stats because I know that their zone hasn't been particularly good this year.
No, it hasn't, and maybe kill a little time while I actually find where I put that.
So Siobhan, they flipped the zone. So last year they would play the bigs up top and then the guards on the back. And now they're doing the opposite. They're putting guards and wings up top and the bigs in the back, which I guess the idea behind it last season was, okay, well, we're going to make any kind of movement on the perimeter really hard on you because we have long arms, we're big, we're tall, we're strong. And then if you somehow make it past our intense movement in our zone, you'll probably, the back line help's not really going to be that strong. They've gone the other way. They've kind of helped the backline help by adding some size back there. But up in front, you have Tyler, you have Goran, you have Nunn, you have Mo Harkless. It's a little different.
Yeah, and this is his team too, and I maybe kind of want him to go back to how we were having it, or how we had it last year. I caught a possession last game where I guess Duncan was in the back line, and I don't know. I'll pay more attention to their zone rotations. I don't know if they are sending the back forward to the wing on the first pass or if they're sending like that top guard now, but it's Duncan is a much more improved defender, but it's still, I think, a lot asking him. I saw him go from that back third in the corner, like challenging up the wing and then coming back to guard the person in the corner. And I feel like we've always kind of done stuff like that. Like the person on ball will also take the first pass. And it's kind of asking a lot, especially if we're doing it with our smaller guys up front now.
And it's a tough ask for them.
Well, the reason why they did it backwards last year is because they were trying to prevent like the middle pass or the entry pass towards the middle of the floor. And obviously with like Derrick Jones Jr., who had a big wingspan, you're able to kind of sort of deflect or at least get a hand on some of those passes and make it harder on the offense to get those passes inside. And that kind of helped in the Celtics series. That's part of the reason why they won that series, because their zone, even though there was a couple games where it seemed like Brad Stevens was kind of figuring it out, it at least helped them win at least two of those games in that series.
See, we don't have that length up front now, so that
you got
free
Casey,
throw line.
he can do it. He's got a 17 wingspan.
So now they put that like that high person at like the high post free throw line area. They're just quick passing it wing, our back forward trying to sprint up there, and then the wing is touch passing it to the corner.
And I think Precious could do good in the zone too.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll see it eventually. Maybe when Jimmy's back, we'll probably start doing some more of the stuff that they did last year, because even some of the switching's been different, I feel like, this year.
Mm-hmm.
The switching, I haven't liked the switching as much as I've liked in the past, because like they have been so aggressive on switches, and Nikias brought this up on the Dunker Spot podcast, his new podcast, which you should absolutely check out.
Number I think Jones. 80 or 70 on all of like sports podcasts at the moment.
Oh, that's movement. It was like 198 2 days ago.
It's great.
Oh my god, what's this?
Yeah, I don't know. Jack Alfonso kind of crashed the podcast. Jack, what do you got? Why are you here?
I just saw the link in the chat. I'm at the airport right now. What's up?
Oh, are you back in America?
Yeah, I'm in Miami right now.
Oh, excellent.
Is that why you're wearing a mask walking through the airport?
I want all of your Rona.
Yeah, Jack, I'm leaving Miami, so.
We're talking about the Heat zone right now, and kind of Brian made the good point that kind of losing Derek is a big factor in why it's not as successful this year. And, that also compounds when you lost Jay and Jimmy's out for so long and you're playing your guards up front. So it's been kind of funky. They haven't gotten the stops. I thought yesterday it was pretty effective. But the Raptors also missed a ton of shots. Kyle was not very good. And honestly, like,
say it again.
Kyle was not very good.
That had to hurt. That couldn't have been easy.
But he did. I mean, he had 10 assists and 7 rebounds, and he did all he could. But like, it's tough. Like when he has a bad shooting night. I mean, their offense isn't very good. Their offense like legitimately struggles a lot.
Say that again.
Their offense is not good. I haven't shied away from that. Their offense sucks. Their offense was not good last year, and it's like not good this year. They have to do. Like, you watch them play possessions, and there's a lot of work being done to get a good shot. Like, it's a lot of Kyle and Fred over dribbling. It's a lot of Pascal spinny things, right? It's not easy. Like, when the Heat play offense, you're running. There was that clip floating around where kind of Duncan's, it's like almost like pistol, but it's not really. And Duncan's kind of standing in the corner, and then he's sprinting, and then Andre's screening for him, and then OG kind of jumps that pass and switches, and then I forgot who Duncan's man was. Duncan's man stayed with him, and then Andre kind of slipped to the basket, which just creates a wide open dunk for Andre. And like, that's the kind of stuff the Heat do. There's a lot of off ball screening, a lot of movement. And then that's all happening off ball because on the strong side of the ball, on the right side, Goran and Precious are running 2-man game. So like, Jack,
I'm sorry, G. Is that what Jack was talking about in the chat earlier?
Yes, like Jack was
that wing.
Oh yeah, I was saying
from
earlier
the wing
that,
to pin down to the post.
Yes,
that's exactly what I was saying.
He was making
I
fun
can't
of
remember what I was saying, but that's what it was.
to give context to Chad and our listeners, so I had tweeted that play and I said, well, in the finals, instead of Andre screening, it was Jimmy, which creates a lot of issues because you're not gonna double Duncan when Jimmy's there, right? So you kind of have to play that one-on-one, and when you play that one-on-one, you give Jimmy a one-on-one. I mean, you expect him to beat you, and if you give Duncan a one-on-one, especially with the screen, chances are he's gonna get a good shot or he's gonna draw help. So either way, you're winning, and that's like been a really successful thing for them. And Jack was totally making fun of me because I pointed that out. Jack always makes fun of me when he has to. Siobhan, I know you gotta duck out.
I'll be right back.
For
I'll be right back.
She'll be right back.
Okay.
We have a lot of moving parts here on this Heat.
By the way, I found those zone defense stats.
Yes, please.
They basically bear out what you guys were discussing. If you go back to last season, the Heat were running a zone defense on, what was it? It was, where did I have this? Here it is. Last season, they were running at about 12% of their defensive possessions, and they were holding teams to 43% from the field, 0.95 points per play, which is really good. They were a top third team in the league in zone defense, but they kept using it in the playoffs. They actually increased to 13% of their defense. As we saw, they were using it a lot in the Celtics series, some successfully, some not. But they were giving up 46% from the field last playoffs on 1 point per play. And now this year, it's completely fallen off the rails. They're a bottom third team, using it 5% of the time. So they've actually lowered their usage of the zone defense. But their teams are scoring 51%, 66% effective field goal percentage. That tells you that teams are making a lot of threes against Miami while they're playing the zone. 1.14 points per possession. That's not good. And that's part of the reason why their defense has not been good this season.
Yeah, Chat's kind of agreeing with Brian's point on the zone that KZ should just step into that Derek role, that DJJ role, and then CJ says that.
Of course, I'm right.
Curtis's hero said that. Shades Fitty is saying, "Did I miss awesome Christian stats? You sure did." What is Dogecoin? Why are people telling you Dogecoin?
You don't know about Dogecoin? It's the future, bro. Invest, buy it.
Do you own some?
I don't know. I think it's funny.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
Don't buy it. Don't buy a lot of it. Do not. This is not. I am not doing that Barstool shit where they give you like investment advice that clearly doesn't make any sense. Do not listen to what I'm saying.
Don't invest in cryptocurrency unless it's Bitcoin, and even then, invest.
I mean,
don't listen to Brian's
invest in
investment.
anything that has increased so much in value so recently. Like, I get it; it could keep going up, but you are risking your fucking ass buying that shit right now.
I heard that nobody knows who invented Bitcoin. That true?
I still know what Bitcoin is. To be honest.
I can't imagine that's true. Just how the technology works. Like,
who on the Heat is most likely to own cryptocurrency?
Oh, Andre.
I was gonna go all in.
Just being a sarcastic bastard. Like,
yeah. I'm so glad Jack's back. Jack, want to get you in on this very important basketball conversation.
Dogecoin.
Who on the Heat is most likely to own cryptocurrency?
Oh, let me think. Let's run them down. Andre Iguodala is a good sleeper pick.
First one, sleeper. Yeah, he's the number one pick.
Yeah, we're all in on Andre.
Myers Leonard probably owns some, because what else is he doing?
His dad gave him. His dad bought him the initial Bitcoin investment.
No, I think Myers listens to a lot of Rogan.
Yeah, but he's probably heavily invested in Lockheed Martin or something like that.
Tesla, for sure.
I think
Chat,
that's
give some nominations. Chat, give some nominations as to who on the Heat is most likely to own Bitcoin. I think Andre's a good one.
Andre is a good one.
It's gotta be someone who has
Myers.
money on the team. Who has money on a team that's willing to like?
Honestly, I bet they all do. Like, when you have that much money, man, diversify your portfolio. Get a little bit of everything. Like,
no way, Goran. No way, Goran has Bitcoin. Just no way. No way that Goran owns any cryptocurrency. Goran's a family man. Goran's not investing in stocks. Goran just wants to play basketball and go home with his family. I think Goran's out on cryptocurrency. Chat's saying Jimmy. A few of them saying Jimmy.
Apparently, Tyler Hero has a sponsorship with a crypto platform called CoinDesk.
Wow. Tyler's
big on that crypto. He's gonna make it big, and then he's just gonna retire. He's like, I already made.
That makes sense, though. That tracks.
He's done voiceover chops apparently, so it's not even like that big.
So Duncan
yeah, but they
is
probably gave him some.
Yeah, some people are saying that Dragic doesn't even know what cryptocurrency is. Dragic is all about basketball and family. There's no in between. Soccer. That's it. That's all Dragic knows.
There's a Forbes story about cryptocurrency, and I see Andre's name on here.
Of course.
Yep, Andre Iguodala for sure. Definitely has invested in cryptocurrency. Spencer Dinwiddie is also another player, which everybody knows because he tried to get his contract converted to cryptocurrency.
That was funny.
Garrett Temple, the Brooklyn Nets, if he's still there. I don't know if he's still there anymore. And Aaron Gordon of Orlando Magic.
Wait a minute, Jack, you play the guitar?
JaVale McGee. That's a sleeper.
What? That's shocking.
JaVale McGee?
Stunning.
Yeah.
That's not that
McGee
shocking.
Yeah.
Here's what you're thinking. You're thinking that JaVale McGee's not that smart, and Bitcoin's for smart people, but that's where you're wrong. Bitcoin is for the opposite of smart people.
That's true. Okay. You know what, Jack? That's so fucking true. You're so right.
Chad has a good nomination.
What?
Max Strus.
Oh, Max Strus. His dad gave him the initial Bitcoin.
You're just saying that.
Investment.
Do you know anything about Max Strus? I know zero things.
No,
about
just
Max
by the
Strus.
look. Just by the look of Max Strus.
I was gonna say, like, if anybody was getting into some shady Bitcoin related affairs, it would be Max Strus. I've been watching a lot of NCIS lately, and I feel like he would definitely be the cyber currency hacker that they arrest. 100%.
Which NCIS? Are you watching the
original? I can't waste my time with the others.
Yeah.
Gibbs
are you like
nothing.
watching
Sorry.
new? Are you watch? Yeah, no, Jethro Gibbs or nothing. Are you watching new
Leroy
episodes?
Jethro
Or are you
Gibbs.
watching old ones? I like Ziva.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's really hard. I actually just got, me and Leslie have been just going through the whole damn thing, which is like 16 seasons. We just got to the point where Tony left the show.
Wow, Anthony DiNozzo.
Yeah, so the very special age.
Wait, gee, I thought you didn't watch cable television.
Oh man, but back in the day, back in like the mid 2000s, we were an NCIS household. We were watching 24, NCIS, every CSI. Yeah, that was
man.
Dr. House. I loved House.
Didn't you watch
Well,
How I
I
Met
watched
Your
some
Mother?
NCIS.
I think
I
that was
didn't
one time I met
appreciate
your
how
mother.
toxic 24 was when I was young, but that shit was
Oh,
the
it's
best.
it's my problematic fave. But
Oh, it's so problematic, but it's so
oh
good.
my god, Jack Bauer killed so many Russian people.
the justification of using force whenever they want.
Yeah, Jack Bauer's
incredible.
like I will. There was one scene in 24 where Jack had to interrogate a guy like on the fly, and he used a cigar cutter to cut the guy's finger. You remember? And I remember
like, a Mission Impossible villain did that, for the love of God. Like,
I don't know if I was in high school or middle school, but like the preview for the next episode had, Jack like, oh, we're gonna do this my way, and he's holding up the thing, and he kind of goes like he like does the action, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome, I'm ready.
The kind of stuff we could do on stream.
To the 38 people on the chat that are really watching us break down 24 like 15 years later.
It's true. We should save this for Stream Beat.
Yeah, we should save this for Stream Beat. I want to talk some about.
What the
Duncan.
fuck is that, Jack?
That's NCIS on Mewtwo. What do you mean? What is that? It's
very
pretty clear
it's very
what it
clear
is.
what that is.
I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's no question what that is. It's NCIS's head on Mewtwo's body.
I hope TSA doesn't let you through.
I mean, they already did. I'm past security.
I mean, listen, that ship has sailed. Let's talk about Duncan real quick, because Duncan's play has been absolutely the bright spot of this season, and I think that in a year where Olynyk's having a down shooting year, where Tyler's having a down shooting year, we're just Nunn is having a down shooting year. And remember, at some point last season, they had 5 guys shooting 50% from 3 or 40% from 3. That is not the case this year. They have a couple guys shooting under 20% from 3, under 30% from 3 rather. In Mo and Jimmy and Tyler and Mo Harkless and a few guys. So like, I think Olynyk might be getting down there too. I mean, he's been really struggling lately. So their offense, I think, will be fine eventually. I think their guys that are good shooters will start hitting. I think Olynyk's a good shooter. He's gonna hit his shots. A lot of them, Christian, as you see, are fucking wide open threes. He's stepping in rhythm. They're not bad shots. Olynyk's never taking a shot that you're just like from 3 that you're like, what are you doing, dude? It's always like pretty in the offense. Tyler, same thing. Tyler's not taking a lot of shots that I think are bad.
No, the guy who that had been happening to a bunch lately, where it was actually really good to see him have a strong night last night, was Kendrick Nunn. I mean, he has been getting left open for months now, and he just keeps front ironing all of these 3-pointers. Like, it's in rhythm. There's nothing off about his stroke. He's just off. So it's been really good to see him kind of get back to that form he showed in the beginning stages of last season, where he's, showing a jumper that he's, that he can rely on, that he looks confident in. Like, that turns him into a totally different player.
Duncan,
have you guys talked about Nunn yet?
Not really.
Because I want to say my piece about Nunn. I got a mention from some Locked On Heat fan who was like, oh, you said Kendrick Nunn's not going to be in the league in 2 years, which is from a podcast I had with David Ramil about Kendrick Nunn. And I didn't say that. That was David Ramil. I never said that. He threw me under the bus. This is some BS. And I'm never going back on Locked On. He's an enemy of Heat Beat now.
Yeah, no, David Ramil, enemy of the state. We're declaring it now.
How do you have credentials and not us?
Because David writes for Forbes, and David's professional, and we're this wild rampant thing that's asking which Heat players don't have Bitcoin. Brian, you think David would ever have a show on his podcast where he says what players would have Bitcoin?
Honestly, that's better content than whatever they're producing.
Whoa!
Damn,
okay,
Brian,
hold on now.
That was kind of hard.
Whoa! We're having fun. David's our friend.
I feel like you mean that. Jesus.
What the fuck was that? I mean, David Ramil's my friend.
It was a good podcast.
That was a joke.
I love Locked On Heat. Go check out Locked On Heat. Give that shit 5 stars.
Kidding.
It's the only other Heat podcast worth listening to. Unless Miami Heat UK is in the chat, then that one is also good.
What about Vice City?
I think they took a 2-week sabbatical.
Too. Yeah, they did.
Or one of those 2 podcasts took a 2-week sabbatical because they got COVID, which is funny because I feel like every Heat podcast has said COVID,
not funny.
But Locked On.
Yeah, because Locked On's just Ramil.
Yeah. He's the only one abiding by self-isolation.
Yeah.
We're all at pool parties. We're at the weekly Heat Beat pool party.
Yeah, it's pretty lit.
They're really fun, though.
going back to Dunk, because I want to touch on Nunn at the end, but kind of I want to get to my Duncan points that, he's been great. He's been shooting over 40%.
45% from three.
He's been outstanding on volume.
No, 46. He's actually shooting better than he did last year.
I mean, he is their offense. He has been absolutely incredible, and I thought yesterday was kind of a bit of an indictment on that. I mean, and by the way, the offensive numbers have really shown that lately. The Heat offense is 112 when he's on and 104 when he's off. I mean, their offense just dives off a cliff when he's out of the game. The defense remains good when he's on the court, which is kind of in tune with what we're doing. They're +2 net rating when he's on, and they're -11 when he's off. So in those 200 minutes that he's not playing, they're getting clobbered, and they're winning the 400 minutes that he's there. He's been very good for them. And yesterday, the Raptors decided that they were going to double team Duncan Robinson off every catch, off that handoff. And you saw in the second half, he didn't do anything, which opened up Kendrick's Nunn game. Kendrick was able to do a lot of things because they were sending two at Duncan every single time. And you saw that, Christian, also in the Philly game. In the Philly game, when Duncan was torching them, Philly's like, okay, well, whatever big is on that handoff. This is such bad pod content. Whatever big is coming off that handoff, they're stepping up.
This isn't a pregame show?
No, this is not. We're doing a pod. Yeah.
There's no game tonight, Jack.
There's no game today, Jack. You cover the Heat.
My bad.
Yeah.
I'll log off.
It's. I was talking about how good Duncan is.
No, keep going because he's been really good, and I'm ready to follow you up. Keep going.
No, that's amazing. That he's drawing Joel Embiid's attention, and they were putting Shake Milton, who's been a very good defender, by the way. I mean, I saw a piece floating around. I wish I could credit it about his defensive effort this year. It's been absolutely great. I mean, he's just drawing. Chris Middleton was guarding him, and he's drawing some of the times the best perimeter defenders on the other team because you need someone who's good at screen avoiding, and that's really fit. And that's a testament to a dude that's undrafted. And I know we bang this drum all the time, but in a season where their offenses look like total shit, nobody's hitting shots. Their best player hasn't played. Everyone looks a little off. And even when Bam's playing well, we have a lack of aggression. The fucking guy that came to play every night is Duncan Robinson, and he's awesome. And he opened that game for Kendrick Nunn a ton because if he's not getting doubled off those handoffs, it makes it a lot harder for Nunn, who really got back to his pull-up game, which is his bread and butter. And once that pull-up drops, the entire floor opens because you can't drop against him, and he's too quick, and he'll beat you one-on-one. So, I mean, Duncan's been MVP of the team.
Yeah, Duncan's going to get paid, and then he deserves it.
Oh, no,
shout out to his new podcast I listened to. It's pretty good. Long shot.
So, shout out to Duncan. We're welcoming in Siobhan back in. Out comes Jack, in comes Siobhan. I feel like we're an athletic podcast. We have the Athletic has a lot of moving parts. I've never realized how hard that is. Siobhan, welcome back. We're talking about Duncan, kind of how good he's been. I was mentioning right before you got on, every time he was coming off a handoff yesterday, he was getting doubled, which really opened the floor for Kendrick, right? Because now Kendrick is playing, 1 on, 2 on 3 or whatever, and it's really beneficial to him. So man, shout out to Duncan. His play has been absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the thing that everyone's been focusing on this season, as they should be, is that he has made substantial improvements on the defensive end, especially as a team defender. And that's obviously paying big dividends for the Heat while he's on the court. But I just need to, obviously, I get Duncan's not that young. He's already technically in his prime. But this season so far, he's improving in literally every single category. It's marginal, but improvement. His points are up, his minutes are up, his field goal attempts are up, his field goal percentage is up, 3-point attempts are up, 3-point percentage is up, field goal free throw attempts are up, rebound up, assists up, steals up, blocks up. Literally, it's marginal, but he's improving everywhere. He's taking more shots off the dribble in the mid-range area, which is something that he would not do before. His fouls are down compared to last season, which is huge, again, on the defensive side of the ball, because fouling was a huge problem that he had. So, I feel like we cannot undervalue Duncan just because he was undrafted, and I think some people inherently undervalue him, especially compared to Tyler Hero. But he is the kind of guy that you need if you want to compete for a championship, especially if you have other stars.
Christian, he's averaging 15 points a game. That's crazy. He's just a guy that's running off screens and shooting.
It's not just that he's scoring 15 points a game. It's that he's doing it on less than 10 field goal attempts a game. It's the efficiency of it. It's that it allows you, he doesn't consume a ton of possessions and get other guys out of rhythm, but he just gives you pure value. Like, that is, you have to be very, like, the Heat better think long and hard before they make a decision on him, because he is the exact kind of guy you need to build a perennial championship team around.
Would you
Not
trade him for
around,
Bradley
but
Beal?
like, he's like that third, fourth guy that you need. You know what I mean?
Would you trade him for Bradley Beal?
Oh, I mean,
that's
yes.
the thing. I don't think
I mean,
would.
you could
No,
probably
you do.
get somebody else who can give you 80% of what Duncan does. I get that.
Wayne Ellington.
But
I mean, obviously it'd be
tough.
a package with
it's
Duncan.
Really tough.
It wouldn't just be. I mean, if it was straight up, yeah, I would do it. But it would be a package of Duncan, Hero, probably Precious, and picks. I don't know if I would try to include all of that.
I'd feel so much better about doing that if he was clearly plateauing, or we clearly saw the best of him. But like right now, I don't feel comfortable saying that. Like,
Siobhan's nodding her head. What you got?
So I agree. I'm not comfortable saying that because I don't know that he's hit a plateau yet. I do think he's still ascending. There's still so much that he can fill out with his game. My only issue with him is what will he command contractually, right? If
he's worth whatever Joe Harris got, which is like 18 to
no,
20
you're
million
looking
dollars.
at looking minimum, I would say around 18-20 million. Like I feel like for sure 20 million. So
then maybe, I know Brad is, our guy of choice, but maybe you're saying that you maybe can find someone that'll give you 80% of what a Duncan will give you, right? And is 80% of what a Duncan will give you enough? Because it's all of the intangibles of Duncan that make him what it is, the footwork, the conditioning to be able to get those shots consistently, running these guys all over the place, and that shot release. I think we may not, or there's a chance that in the 20% that you lose from getting an 80% Duncan, that that might make a difference. So maybe I like Brad, but maybe I don't go all in all of those chips for Brad. Maybe I'm more comfortable with getting like a 80% of what a Brad can give you and keeping all of what makes Duncan. So maybe for me, the move and the look is at a couple guys out in Texas.
Well, you got to look at the makeup of the team, kind of to Siobhan's point here. Like, you have Jimmy, are you pretty sure that Jimmy, Goran, and Bam are staying? I think regardless, I think those guys are just generally not going to be part of any trade package. Because why, in reality, would a team want Goran, especially if they're trading
no,
star,
and you're really going to risk trading Goran with how much Jimmy loves him? I feel like there's no chance.
Yeah, so let's look at the makeup of the team. So if you add Brad to Goran, Jimmy, and Bam, that's a nice fit there at the 2 guard with Jimmy at the 3, right? And then, because if you keep Duncan in that deal, now you're kind of playing guys out of position where you're moving Jimmy up a spot, you're moving Brad up a spot to play Duncan, right? Or you're kind of keeping them all there together. And that's where I'm a little more with Harden. It was different because with Harden, him and Duncan don't have not just a redundant skill set, but like kind of defensive liabilities. I don't want to call Duncan a defensive liabilities, but with Harden it was different because he's a guy that can play off Harden a lot better than he would play off of Brad. Not that he wouldn't play off of Brad, great, but the fit is so good with Brad because you just have Goran, Brad, Jimmy, Bam, and really that 4 spot is the only question mark, which I'm sure that at that point in the buyout market you're going to be able to fill that pretty easily. Yeah,
so, I mean, in the buyout market or going into next off season, I mean, you've got a perennial contender when you've got all those 4 guys on the right. While Goran is still who he is, like that's a team that is going to attract guys, veterans who just want to win a championship, guys that are willing to take like much less than they normally would. And I think that in terms of value is where you get that 80%. And that's why I'm going to understand if they do trade Duncan for Beal, because you can build from there.
And remember his contract situation. So, like, the good thing about Tyler right now is that Tyler's cheap. He's on a rookie deal. It's not expensive. He's inexpensive. And I know, Brian, you know a lot more about the cap machinations than I do. But, Tyler's cheap. Duncan's about to get pricey, and they have Bam and Jimmy.
The thing is, with Duncan's contract, they're in such a good position where they can go over the cap to retain him because of his bird rights, and that's the beauty of it. Like, you can go and get a Bradley Beal and still keep a Duncan Robinson at $20 million, and then really the only thing it's hurting is you're going to be paying a luxury tax, but that's not our money. That's Mickey Harrison's money, and if he feels like that's a contender, which it should be, you should pony up and pay that luxury tax to keep that group together.
So Curtis is here in the chat. So something that I really agree with. You can't play Hero, Duncan, and Dragic together at the end of games, which is why the future of this team is choosing between Hero and Duncan or replacing them with an Oladipo or a Beal or someone who can score and defend.
Absolutely.
And that's a great point because their guards are not good enough defensively to survive.
Yep. Closing lineup defense is important. And that whoever Curtis is, is right. That is a lot of liability on the floor. And I like the Vic and the PJ move because you have two vets who kind of know how to close and who still give you that dynamic, ability in a Vic and all the things that we can maybe prognosticate that a PJ can give you.
That's one, and the two-way guys is just huge. Because I mean, Siobhan, how long has it been since they they always play with one-way guys since the Big Three era? Like ever since then, and even then they were playing with some one-way guys. Yeah. They haven't really. I mean, I think last year in the finals was even then because you're playing Tyler and Goran at the end of games.
Yep.
And by the way, Siobhan, I don't want to embarrass you, but can you give your bona fides? Because I think if anybody understands how difficult it is, to do all this on a basketball court, it's you. You've played at, do I have this right, the collegiate and the professional level?
Yep, high school, college, pro.
Look at them jerseys in the back stream. Look at that. Her accolades. So, I mean, as Alf said on Hangover Time yesterday, we all just talk shit, and Siobhan and Tiff, by the way, because Tiff was recruited by Pat Summit.
Shout out Tiff.
Tiffany Meeks. Yeah, shout out to Tiff. They know what the fuck they're talking about. And we're gasbagging, reading off spreadsheets and reading.
Hey, we came in 4th place at the media tournament.
Listen, next time they have it, I'm coming. I will come to Florida.
Go. Siobhan, please save us. We need a bucket getter. It was bad. Univision kicked our ass. We can't lose. We can't
lose
like that.
They didn't just kick our ass. They kicked freaking Solana's ass. And he got bloody cut in his eye.
Yeah, they smoked poor Solana and the radio team.
Wait, didn't we lose to WPLG though?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, we lost to Univision.
We won our first 2 games and we lost 2 straight.
It was double.
And it was mainly because you went cold, twice. Christian.
Yeah, it really was. God damn it.
I mean, you Kelly Olynyk that up. Kelly, you looked good in the beginning.
I was like 1 of 8. That was frustrating.
Jack is saying in
if
chat.
If it wasn't for me, we would have lost our first game. So.
Look at Brian.
Brian had a big bucket. Shit, Brian. He did.
Talk it.
He did. Brian had like a little step back 3 that I just did not know he had in him. He looked so cool doing it. I've never seen Brian look cool in my life.
That was probably the best shot I've ever made in my life because that was on the Vice court and it was a game winner.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty badass.
Fantastic.
We're such nerds.
I don't even know who we were playing. We didn't play anyone that great.
Did we play? I don't. Yeah. We're bragging about our beauty.
I remember there's an anchor on Channel 10 that's like just really good. And that's why I need Siobhan to play for our team so she can lock her up.
Okay. Oh yeah, she kicked our ass.
Nicole Perez. She was really good out there. Like,
yo, Siobhan, she hit me with the dream shake. It was bad. I almost fell over. Yeah. I was like, oh no. That was not my best showing.
Right in your base and get your stance right.
Siobhan, can we really get Breon Weber on our team?
Hold on. I don't know if he'll be on the team. I don't know if I can get him
allowed.
Brian's
trying to play.
Brian's trying to find fucking ringers. All right,
let's. That's my boy, but I don't know if I can.
The title.
I don't know if I can get him to commit. I'll talk about it.
Brian's trying to buy a
Tiffany her Mo Harkless jersey.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of to close us out because we're running a little bit on time. We haven't mentioned Kendrick Nunn, and we should because he was absolutely fantastic. He's in his bag. He was hitting the pull up. Siobhan, did you see that pass that he hit?
Which one?
The one he hit Duncan in the corner. Or was it Duncan or Struce or somebody? Oh, it's K. I don't know. He hit somebody in the corner. He kind of got a dude on a fake, took one dribble, and then passed to the left.
I didn't, but it's just nice seeing him play well. Get some confidence back in him. I'm happy for him. I am a Kendrick Nunn fan. Shout out to NCIS. I want good things for that guy. Or shout out to Maddox, my bad. I want good things for Kendrick. And yeah, if he can, kind of return to form a little bit, does that change the nature of the conversations that we're having?
It changes our calculus completely.
Does it though? Or see, I think we get like lulled into like
if we can get more scoring, that helps.
We'll be locked in on maybe a potential trade idea, and then guys will have like 3 or 4 good games, and then we'll stand pat, like, okay, so maybe we can, make this work, and then miss the opportunity for the trade, and then guys go back to playing.
Well, I think the perfect situation is a Nunn returns sort of to the format he has seen.
Yeah.
And we can move him in here, and we can keep jumping.
Yeah.
Brian's like, read that trade value, dog.
Brian is like, give me what I want.
I'm not mad at it. Keep playing well, Kendrick.
Yeah.
For your sake, for ours.
Well. I really do want him to play well because, it's contrary. Like, this is probably the best time he's ever going to make money in his career, so he needs to play well, or else I don't know what's really in the future for him. Yeah. And then, two, it's just like, we need the scoring, and we haven't really had good point guard play much of all this year besides Goran, so having a second guard that can sort of score, and if he can play off the bench, I don't think he needs to start. If he can play off the bench and give you, those 10 to 15 points a game, that's crucial.
Then does that mean you go back to starting Goran? Are we committing to starting Goran? Because I don't think that's a good turn. A good deal.
I would start Avery just for the defense.
Yes.
So Goran and Kendrick Nunn, because that's also something that I've monitored a lot of over the years, especially last year. They together are a minus this year. They're like -2 per 100. And last year they were about a little bit worse. So something that, two guards that aren't great at defense. And also like, you expect Tyler to be the starter at some point. But if Kendrick is going to contribute to them in a positive way, especially as a bare minimum spot up shooter and a guy that can kind of go at the drop a little bit, it really ceiling raises for them, because they, there are times that they just look very, very, very dry when they try to score. They labor Christian. They look like they can't get any quality looks if it's Bam or if it's Duncan or Famine or Bam or Famine. And, having another guy like that can get a shot, because, Goran's numbers have looked good, but there are times Goran also has a foot injury right now. And I think kind of to Siobhan's point, you kind of want to save him. So if Kendrick can give you, 12 to 15 a game, that's really going to help them.
No, absolutely. And I think that makes it a lot more palatable to have him play more minutes. I don't think he's ever going to be, a plus defender, really. He's not good navigating screens, and he just hasn't made a lot of improvement in there. But if he is clicking offensively, he can be a valuable player, especially in terms of providing that rest that guys like Goran need, and they really should be playing as little as possible and just saving themselves for the playoff time.
I mean, really, in reality, he's taking Gabe Vincent's minutes.
Right. I mean, it's also obviously it's great that you have two guys that right now clearly feel like they're competing against each other, because I feel like that always, kind of instigates better play, knowing that you could lose your minutes to this guy, and when the roles aren't that defined, that is, I guess, like a plus to kind of tinkering with things, is that inherent competition.
Who's taking Gabe's minutes right now? Kendrick?
Yes.
Gabe is taking Kendrick's minutes. Kendrick can't.
I think Gabe probably should be back on the bench, but that's me.
So. Surprisingly, Kendrick Nunn is shooting 50% from the floor this year.
But honestly, I don't really like. What's the guard rotation when Jimmy and Hero are back? Because then actually, really, one of them needs to be on the bench, because even Avery would be coming back. That's 3 guards. I don't know how you split that up.
So they're worse when Kendrick's on the floor, and those numbers still hold true. Now, before
I threw it into a poll, so if you guys want to contribute, who would you rather have, Gabe or Kendrick? Keep going, Gianni.
I'd probably rather have Kendrick. I guess I'd rather have Gabe. I'm kind of done with Kendrick.
I'd rather have Gabe.
In general, I'd rather have Gabe. I mean,
I think I'd rather have Kendrick.
I mean, they're still outsscored with Kendrick, right? And when Kendrick's off the floor, when Kendrick's on,
I'm just looking at Kendrick's last 2 games. If he could keep it up, if he's going back to what he was before, like same with Mo, like if Mo reverts back to how he started off the season, Like, he just has the Pistons, and yeah, both of them should be on the bench. I'm assuming that they'll kind of keep up their production now.
Kendrick played the 2. Because I feel like I want Tyler near a Goran Dragic lineup the time. I want Tyler off the ball, and so maybe that puts Kendrick in the starting 2, Avery starting point, Jimmy 3, what have you, with the 4, and Bam at the 5. But then I'm forgetting Duncan. So yeah, you're right. When those guys come back, we're kind of in this weird log jam of guards that we tend to find ourselves in.
That's why we got traded for Bradley. We don't have this issue.
Siobhan, like, they have some consolidation issues.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
it's been like MO. This for 3 years straight. Then it's always the guards.
Yeah.
And there's 2 different conversations to be had, because what you're talking about is a regular season rotation. Because in the playoffs, it's gonna be Goran and Tyler, right? Like, bearing a trade. Those guys are probably going to start. And then Duncan, Jimmy, Bam, right? Like, that's what you imagine, unless they get a 4. So it's tough because their guard rotation is also dependent on who they're playing at the 4. Because if they get a guy like PJ, you're starting PJ. So it's Bam, PJ, Jimmy, and now that leaves 2 guards in the playoffs, which if you assume one of them is Goran, now you're picking between Duncan or Tyler, right? So then that's going to also change the math on how you look at the season. And then off the bench, you're going to have your first point guard off the bench, which could be Bradley, could be Nunn. And then whichever, I guess the second one is whoever doesn't start, right? It's going to be Duncan or Tyler, whichever one doesn't start. So if they do make a trade, they're probably going to need some consolidation, or probably Nunn goes in a trade. I think that I'm pretty sure the organization knows what we know. They see they're not dumb. I think they see the writing on the wall. And I think even last year when Kendrick was playing well, there were some glaring issues with his game that I still don't think are addressed. I think it's good that he had a good game for them. I think that they're going to need the scoring boost, and they need to survive the regular season. The regular season is for them to survive. Until they make a trade, which we know is coming, they have to survive. Oh, why are you laughing?
Sorry, I just saw that apparently Bernie Sanders reacted to all the memes that have been going around today, and he goes, "It makes people aware that we make good mittens in Vermont."
They are. Did you read about how those mittens are made?
No, how are they?
So I forget what the outside is, but the
kitten mittens, that's what they are.
The wool on the inside is made out of all plastic bottles.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They're pretty cool. Oh! They look like they're big, but no, they're eco-friendly. I guess feels like a good
product.
Damn, Bernie
they sold out on Twitter as soon as people saw them.
That's amazing. No better advertising than becoming a meme on the internet.
Yeah.
I for sure thought that you were gonna put Bernie on the bench of a Heat game, Christian, as your background. I would have bet money on that.
Put him right next to UD.
Yeah, I guess we gotta tell Brass to do that for Hangover Time. Yeah. We gotta put Bernie in funny places.
You should put Bernie. I think you should put Bernie on that shot with Ray Allen.
Yeah. Put Bernie in the crowd in the Ray Allen shot. Where else can we put him? In the trophy ceremony.
You can't really see it.
You can when the Big Three era, the second champion, when they're sitting on that on the landing on that raised landing on Bernie next to Dwayne, Bosh, and LeBron.
Can we put Bernie on the what was that really viral video of them dancing? Costumes.
The Harlem Shake.
Yeah, do something like that there.
Just kind of put Bernie in the back
sitting
of the
in front of one of the lockers, just disgusting.
Yes, just chilling. Gold. Did you see that one tweet that it was Bernie looks this is just that he has a whole itinerary of things to do, and he's just stopping at Joe's thing for a minute.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
That shit sent me so much. Yo, guys, remember to check out Hangover Time after every single Heat game. We're streaming live next episode. I'm actually gonna be allowed on Hangover Time. Alf is allowing me.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, I'm on Hangover Time tomorrow.
You are?
I'm finally allowed. Yeah.
I thought that was written into the deal.
It was, but Alf said that I'm allowed tomorrow.
Alf has personal responsibilities he needs to take care of.
No, tomorrow Alf is hosting.
Oh, never mind.
And
Saturday,
I'm on.
he's off.
Saturday, Alf is off on Saturday.
I'm on Saturday, so come.
Yeah, I'm on Saturday.
Hang out Saturday.
Same.
Yeah. But I'm on Friday first with
Chat's
my
asking
homie.
if you're gonna drink.
Yes,
Friday is drip drop.
Saturday.
Come on,
dude.
no,
And I'm gonna,
drip drop Fridays.
Oh well, you guys can drip drop on Friday, but I'm gonna drip drop on Saturday.
Are we drip drop Fridays or drip drop Saturdays? We gotta figure.
We're gonna do both days.
The tradition is Fridays.
Let's work this out because I like obviously we're gonna die if we do it every Friday. What we should do?
You need to make the rules harder because every subscription is too much.
Once a month, we should play the drip drop game with the subs, where we take a shot for every. We should make it a once a month thing to kind of get people involved with our subscription, because we can't do it every time because we're just gonna die.
Do it bi-weekly. Do it every
bi-weekly.
We could do it as a sub goal. Where we all will take a shot if we hit a sub goal or something. I don't know.
We have to figure it out. We got to find ways to intricate the drip drop game. But check out Friday tomorrow. We have Iman from Dishes and Dimes on. She's amazing. It's an all-women's Raptor podcast, and she's been on our show many times. I'm working on a Dishes and Dime guest for the pregame show, so stay tuned for that. We'll see. They have their own pregames to work on, so hopefully we can get one of them for pregame too for Heat Raptors, and then obviously Saturday Heat Nets with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. So make sure to check out the pre and post game shows here on Heat Beat for that. Make sure to check out Light Skinned Opinions on YouTube. We're gonna check chat right now. I'm gonna kind of throw that out so that you guys can click that little link there, go to their YouTube page, subscribe, and watch them live. They're gonna do a show about the inauguration and everything going on in America right now. LSO is amazing. Alf hosted.
Don't we have a LSO right after this?
Yeah, LSO at 8:30 on the LSO YouTube channel. So click that link I just threw out there that Nightbot so graciously provided, and check what they're doing out on YouTube. And we'll be back tomorrow for our pregame show 30 minutes before tip-off. So I believe it's 7 o'clock. I think the game's at 7:30. So 7 p.m. I will be here. I think Jack Alfonso will be here, and probably Additions to Dime guests will be here. And then post-game, us and Iman. So check us out there. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to subscribe to our Twitch page, our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at MIAHeatBeat. Follow us here on Twitch. That's important. And I'm telling y'all, please leave 5-star reviews on iTunes or Spotify. That means a lot. The podcast is our baby.
Yep.
If you're listening to this on Apple Pod, please give us a review. It would mean a lot to me.
Yeah, make Gianni feel better. He's feeling a little worried about it lately. I know, he knows more people are going to YouTube, more people are watching us on Twitch, but he's concerned about the pod numbers. Just go subscribe, even if you don't listen.
As long as the team keeps winning, we'll be fine.
It's gonna make Gianni feel a lot better.
We're finally on our first game-winning streak, so
give us that sweet auto download. Listen, that's gonna keep our lights on. Okay, just please help me out.
We'll pay for Alice's alcoholic addiction problem.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to that. Shout out to AA meeting.
The AA meeting, right?
Hold on, before we go, when the AA meeting came, did you know that was coming, Siobhan?
I did not. I didn't know what that was. We'd seen Alf's nipples in that photo before. I just didn't know the rest of what was about to happen.